good morning, and in the case if it's afternoon or evening, good afternoon and good evening. Let's talk about the Pomodoro technique and try to understand its basics. In modern society, with an increasingly fast pace of life, time seems to have become a scarce commodity. Many people are looking for ways to better manage their time and improve work efficiency. At this time, Pomodoro technique is like a beacon providing the way for people. Pomodoro technique, aka the tomato timer time management technique, is a time management method that cuts work into 25-minute sections and then matches it with a 5-minute break. Its core idea is to break down large tasks into multiple small goals and to improve work efficiency and concentration. This method takes its name from the kitchen timer used to make ketchup, so named because of its shape. When you use the Pomodoro technique, you can prioritize your day's tasks and tackle them one at a time. Whenever a 25-minute work cycle ends, you can enjoy the 5-minute break to relax your body and mind and prepare for the next round of work. The advantage of the technique is simplicity and practicality. You don't need any complicated tools or software, just a timer. At the same time, it's also highly customizable, and you can adjust it according to your needs and work habits. Research shows, and my own experience as well, that the Pomodoro technique improves work productivity and concentration. By breaking work into smaller chunks, people can better focus on completing tasks and reduce interruptions and distractions at work. Proper rest can promote brain relaxation and active thinking, allowing people to better cope with challenges at work. All in all, the Pomodoro technique, as a simple and efficient time management method, can help us improve work efficiency and concentration. If you are still worried about how to improve your work efficiency, try Pomodoro technique. It may bring you unexpected gains and surprises, making your work and life more colorful. The Pomodoro technique is a time management technique that takes its name from a small Italian town famous for its beautiful tomatoes. Pomodoro is a countable noun, thus it has singular and plural forms. Pomodoro is singular, and pomodori or pomodoros are plural forms. The core idea of this method is to divide the work into periods. Each period is called a pomodoro, usually 25 minutes. During these 25 minutes, you need to focus on one task without any distractions. After each Pomodoro, you need to rest for 5 minutes before starting the next Pomodoro. After completing 4 Pomodoros, you can rest longer, usually 15 to 30 minutes. The rest time depends on your workload. The beauty of the Pomodoro technique is that it can help you improve your focus, reduce distractions at work, and allow you to complete tasks more efficiently. This way, you can break your work into smaller periods and better manage your time and tasks. In addition, this method is also very maneuverable. You only need a timer, pen, and paper to get started. To implement the Pomodoro technique in your daily life, you can follow these steps. Step 1. Identify a goal or task. Before you start, identify the goal or task you want to accomplish. This can be anything such as writing an article, completing a project, or learning a new skill. Step number 2. Plan your time. Divide your time into 25-minute periods of Pomodoros, plus some breaks. Generally speaking, you can rest for 15 to 30 minutes after every 4 Pomodoros. Step number 3. Get to work. During each Pomodoro, focus on completing the task. Try to avoid distractions such as turning off social media, phone notifications, a DND mode, etc. Step number 4. Break. After completing a Pomodoro, take a short break. I usually take 5 minutes. You can stand up and walk around, drink a glass of water, or do some stretches. This will help you relax and recharge. And the last step, step 5, repeat. Continue to the next Pomodoro and repeat the above steps. The Pomodoro technique is a simple yet effective time management method. By using this method, you can gain more control over your time and tasks, improving productivity and focus, whether you're at work or studying. In a famous speech from Hamlet, to be or not to be, that is the question. Now, the Pomodoro technique can be useful for certain types of work. For example, it may be helpful for the tasks that require creative thinking or problem solving, as taking regular breaks can help to clear the mind and generate new ideas. It may also be useful for tasks that require a high level of concentration, as the technique helps to reduce distractions and improve focus. However, the Pomodoro technique may not be suitable for all types of work. For example, it may not be practical for tasks that require continuous attention or for those who have a fixed deadline. Still, do not rush to deny the effectiveness of the Pomodoro technique. As I mentioned before, it's customizable, which means that you can adjust it to your needs. For example, when I translate research papers or books from Chinese to English, even though I have deadlines, I divide my work into several days, 7 Pomodori per day, working on the translation. Now, it doesn't mean that I succeeded in implementing the technique as I started, not at all. I recorded and visualized, and thus I could predict how many Pomodori I needed for the designated work. It's like the raw material, and you need to work on this raw material to make a very perfect product. Your product would be unfinished if you give up halfway. The same logic is with the Pomodoro technique. At the very beginning, when you are at the starter level, you may face some problems, but you need to shape the technique. I will upload relevant videos sharing my experience and techniques I use to fully implement the Pomodoro technique, which might be useful to you. But first, you subscribe to my channel, follow me here, and try to digest the information in this video. Is the Pomodoro technique really useful? Ultimately, the effectiveness of the Pomodoro technique depends on the individual and the type of work being done. If you find that it helps you to be more productive and focused, then it can be a useful tool. But keep in mind that the Pomodoro technique isn't the only time management method. You can try other methods based on your needs and preferences, such as the PDCA method. The most important thing is to find a method that works for you and stick to it. Let's talk about Pomodoro technique and why it is important in our daily life, like running errands, doing chores, or doing your work or studies, and that kind of stuff. By the way, the remark I will refer to the Pomodoro technique as PT. For those who don't know anything about PT, I'll try to simplify. Is when you are engaged in an activity for 25 minutes and then take a break for 3 to 5 minutes and then repeat the circle. It's very simplified though. So why 25 minutes? The author takes 25 minutes as an imperative for a designated task. He used to commute, which took him 25 minutes, and during these 25 minutes he was concentrated on reading a book. Thus, during these 25 minutes, it was impossible to get a cup of coffee, turn on the TV, check his favorite internet community, or do anything else that suddenly turns out to be so dramatically important when someone tries to read the same book at home. The reading time on the bus is time-boxed, single activity, single goal experience with amazing results. And then he came up with the idea, what if those 25 minutes to extend to other activities? The author recommends a tomato-shaped timer But nowadays, actually, we can use the timer or countdown that is a default on our phones. The point is, you can make time your friend, not your enemy. Now, instead of feeling anxiety about deadlines for this day, this week, or this month, you set a timer for 25 minutes and completely focus on the task at hand. When the timer rings at the end of the 25 minutes and you're still working, it does not mean that you have failed to finish. On the contrary, it's a round of applause for your completed time box. There is a very good saying in the book: you can't dance at two weddings with one rear end. In other words, you should focus on one activity at a time. And by the way, your subscription would be Pomodoro. Let's talk about the symptoms that hold us back from the job being done. These symptoms keep us from accomplishing the assigned tasks, and here are some of the many symptoms that need treating. And the Pomodoro technique can be a very good treatment. I bet you are familiar with one or two of them. The following are the problems that can cause people do not get work done. Excitement decreases when complexity is high. When tasks are complex, you can't complete them in a single 25-minute period, so you tend to procrastinate. Procrastination provides easy relief when problems are hard, but the problems do not go away. No matter how complex the task, the important thing is to keep starting. Procrastination increases when tasks are boring. The tasks may be boring, but when you have 25 minutes, it should trigger your brain that it doesn't matter whether it's boring or not. Now, what you have got is these 25 minutes and the job has to be done. You do it, and after the timer rings, you track your process and estimate how much time you approximately need to accomplish the task. It may be 4 to 5 Pomodoro timers or 2-3 days, each of 4 to 5 Pomodoros. What is important here is that at least now you have the estimation and you know that you have this task even though it's boring or complex. It could be done, and you just need some Pomodoro timers to finish it. The hard work is done, but the activities that matter are still not completed. This symptom is very tricky because it makes you feel that you have almost finished and the most difficult part is accomplished. The easiest part gonna take you 10 to 20 minutes. But remember, my friend, the devil is in the details. You do your planning in the morning and commit to doing a small number of activities that day. The pressure builds before a deadline. Long hours and working weekends are never productive in the long run. If you are forced to put in more hours than you are comfortable with, you won't be able to produce quality work for long. You can create a sustainable pace with the PT rhythm by using short iterations of 25 minutes, by not skipping breaks, and by focusing on one activity at a time. Let's say that you're working on a project that has a deadline until next Monday. Instead of organizing your time, you choose to take overtime on weekends. You have finished the project successfully. But is it a good strategy in the long run? What about the project that you will have in the future? Are you going to take overtime for each project with a deadline? You will burn your energy out and will end up with chronic fatigue syndrome. That's not what we want, right? The mental transition between work and breaks is too slow. Sometimes you can lose time during the day just getting started or coming back for lunch. The time it takes to get back on the task can add up before you know it. Your to-do list should be realistic, not like a fabulous plan on paper And when it comes to reality, you find out that your time is not enough and your energy is burned out. As a beginner, just take small steps and try to get into the Pomodoro technique from the activities that are relatively easy to accomplish and are totally dependent on you. Mistakes get repeated over and over. To avoid the same errors day after day, the last 3 steps of the Pomodoro technique are done at the end of every day. Record, process, and visualize are together the daily retrospective and the key points for adapting your personal process, which means you learn and improve every day. The effort that one task takes is underestimated. Activities become much clearer when they are broken down into smaller parts. If you estimate that an activity will need more than 7 Pomodori, you can break it down. Using Pomodoro estimating, you can get immediate feedback on the pace at which you are working when you compare your Pomodoro estimate with the actual number of completed Pomodoro per activity. This is called quantity estimating. You do the comparison. The scope of a task is underestimated. Do secondary tasks spin off from your activities while you work on them? In the Pomodoro technique, you just add them to the unplanned and urgent list and then intensify your efforts to complete the main activity. This is called quality estimating. Estimates are seen as promises. It's impossible to guess exactly how much time an activity will take. The habit of seeing your guess as a promise creates unnecessary anxiety. You have the timer for 25 minutes and X for each 25-minute round. That's it. Sometimes it's hard to focus on one activity because you get so many other great ideas all the time. Someone pushes work on you. When people push work on you that you don't want to do, it's unlikely you'll enjoy doing it. The fight between have to and want to is known as the terrible two. Perfectionism prevents actions. Winding up the clock and putting in 25 minutes of effort will reward you with being able to write an X and then take a break. Fear of failure or criticism is a mental impediment. The Pomodoro technique is your commitment, your process metrics, and your process. Get a piece of paper and a pen. Make a list of several activities. These activities have a title, Activity Inventory. Write down all the activities you want, plan, or are supposed to do today, and then draw a second column with the title To-Do List. Now, which one of these tasks did you write down is the most important? Draw those tasks from the inventory to the to-do list. Now, as we come to the end, remember to ask yourself these follow-up questions. What makes you stop an activity before you are done? What is the best place to read to help you focus? What do you do to avoid starting on a boring task? What type of activities usually take more time than you initially estimated? Are you bound to do administrative activities that steal time from more important activities? After you have answered these questions, drink 2 shots of Bloody Mary and have a nice day. That would. Yeah, it's been ages since I dropped that Pomodoro technique video last winter. Time flies, right? So here what I was thinking, I've deciphered this book in more languages than it could breaking parrot, but I was still on a quest to discover the ultimate, simplest way to make the most of it. Drumroll, please. And by the way, don't bother with book's suggestion of using 2 or 3 sheets of paper to plan your work and tick off completed tasks. let's just say it's not my jam. And if you want to be more productive and save your time without spending the dime, I have a better suggestion. And go to the clock software on your computer. Now, as you see here, focusing feature on Windows laptop. So how to find the focusing feature? Go to the clock app on your laptop and click on the first thing you see. So this is the first thing you see here, right? So the first, second, third, and on. That's where you will find the focusing feature. So this one's here. Talking about the language setting, the interface is in Chinese as it was the default language setting when I purchased my laptop in China. While I am unable to change the language, it is important to know that the software and interface remain the same across all languages. Now, how to use the focusing feature. Now, so here you can start. Here you can start your timer starting from 10 minutes. That's the minimum. But it comes with the default 25 minutes, one Pomodoro timer. Then you can click on it and start your focus time. Okay, here we go. Now, also mention that you can pause it if you need to answer a call or get a coffee or tea, and you can hide the timer as well. Right. So like pausing, right? Okay, so as you see here, now it's showing the time, and now I'm hiding the time. Okay, now about this icon here, this is the pop out icon. So tap this icon to pop out the timer, so you can keep an eye on it while you are doing your stuff. For example, in my case, it's usually making some presentations or translating some documents. Okay, let's go back. And also daily progress section, as you see here on the right side. It has 3 parts. The first part shows how many Pomodoros you did yesterday, and the second part shows how many you did today, and the third part shows how many days in a row you've been following the Pomodoro technique. You can also edit it. It's here by pressing this one. All right, now as you see, this is, for example, let's say that if you work on weekends, you can click on the include the weekend option here. Now let's click on it. Okay. Now let's talk about the pros and cons. It's pretty easy to use with a simple UI. Still, it has some drawbacks, and like there is no smartphone app of it, and you can't name the task you're focusing on. It functions as a simple Pomodoro timer, which actually is a good option considering that you can combine it with Microsoft to-do lists and tasks. The last one, however, like this one, has the mobile app both for Androids and iOS. Okay, now we are clear that we have the software we can use, which is totally for free and user-friendly. Now imagine this. You're curious about how many Pomodoros you have dedicated to a specific task and whether it exceeded your original Pomodoro goal. Like, what if your Pomodoro count for a task is like a surprise party more than expected? So what are we gonna do then? And also, if you're a MacBook user and need a phone or a tablet app, considering that we usually spend most of our time tapping on our phones and tablets rather than clicking on our laptops. As a preface, this is not an ad or integration. I'm simply mentioning that the app is available for download if desired, and it's reasonably priced, and it offers a free version with limited features. Alternatively, a 3-month or lifetime membership is available for a small fee of $12 to $15. All right, let's spill the beans about the app. It's got the snazzy name of Focus To-Do, Pomodoro Timer, and To-Do List. And I'm going to share my screen and show you the app itself. Alright, so welcome to Introduction to Pomodoro app. And as you see here, this is the multi-platform accessibility. Let's talk about it. In addition to its cost effectiveness, the application offers the versatility of being accessible on various devices. It can be downloaded as a mobile application for smartphones or laptops, and it also has a Chrome extension. For instance, I'm currently using the Chrome extension on my laptop. Well, first of all, let's start about the user-friendly interface. The user interface of the mobile application, now in our case, the Chrome extension. All right. So it shows, it displays the labels such as today, tomorrow, this week, the planned, already accomplished. And also, additionally, users have the ability to create custom labels as demonstrated by the universal lessons on the label that I created. However, the application, it provides icons for creating labels and folders, allowing users to organize and store multiple labels efficiently. In my case, I just only need one, the universal lessons, the lessons that I give the university. Okay, now let's go to additional features. Now let's talk about the additional features. I don't use this feature, however, you can create or you can create the group or you can join the group, and it also comes with a very interesting stuff here. Okay, now as you see this one, it's very interesting stuff. This is a forest where you can collect flowers to grow your own tree. As you see, I'm the level 5, and also the world ranking, which has 2 options: last 30 days and overall option. So here I'm like 82,000, ranking 82,665th. Oh my god. So I totally spent 354.2 hours. Now, and the last, which is, in my humble opinion, more important rather than ranking and growing the tree, is the statistics, which has total focus time, also the focus time of this week, for this week, and focus time of today. You also have here the Pomodoro calendar. Now, let's talk about the goal setting and tracking. The features that I really love here. And as you see this icon, this is the mobile app. I'm just sharing my screen. Here you can tap on it and you can get the long screenshot. So in a case if you want to save it, or in case if you want to share it. Okay, so it's like, as you see here, it's the daily, this historical report, daily, weekly, monthly. So like monthly, the focus time was 1 hour 38 minutes, and it's like 78 hours 41 minutes less than last month. Now it seems to be like last month I was crazy busy though. All right, and talking about this app is the one thing that I really liked, that you can set up your focus time goal. Mine is 3 hours per day, and then you can track it on Pomodoro calendar and focus time chart, which shows your daily report, the top hours you spend, and the average hour respectively. Okay, and this was a brief intro to a Pomodoro app. If you want me to make a video on full review of the app, please leave your comment. Also, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and share my videos. That was Jim Winsor signing off.
Subscribe now or forever hold your peace.